Hey everybody, Charlie here. Today we're going to cover cutting our seat cowl that we have previously done in episodes 1, 2, and 3. Today we're going to actually talk about some of the tools I use for cutting my parting lines. It's relatively simple. These are common tools that can be found in any of the big box stores, even online, wherever you want to pick them up at. Basically, I use a Dremel style rotary tool. I happen to have the flex shaft mounted on here because I prefer to work with the actual pencil style control on here. I have a few different cutting bits, a couple different grinding bits. These are all the different bits that I use when I'm producing this kind of stuff. There's probably a few more, but this gives you a general idea of what to look for when it comes to selecting the rotary tool for cutting your parts. Anyways, without further ado, we'll take a pause. I'll grab the camera by hand and we'll kind of show you up close what they look like. Anyways, stand by. All right, we're back. All right, here I'm going to talk about a couple of the parts, the tools that I use on my Dremel style rotary tool. We have here two different, there's actually three, but these are the two first concerns that talk about. These are a cutoff wheel used for a rotary tool. This first one here, I just happen to have one of these, so I figured I'd share it. I do not use these. These are non-reinforced cutoff wheels. They're kind of like compressed sand with some binder or glue to kind of hold it in a round, thin disc form. The reason I do not use these is if you make a mistake and you touch it wrong on the part you're cutting, or you twist the blade in the slot that you're cutting or whatever, these things will explode. They come apart. So I do not trust them at all. If you have those, and those usually come in the multi-pack or the multi-tool bit type kits, just throw them away. I mean, even the Dremel branded ones they're terrible. Don't even use them. The next one to it is another style cutoff wheel. It uses the same kind of compressed sand or abrasive to it, but it's fiberglass reinforced, and you can actually see the grain of the fiberglass in them, or on the package they'll tell you they're fiberglass reinforced, and they're generally much larger in size. So do not use the smaller ones. They're always about this 25 millimeter, 1 inch size frame here. And these are generally much bigger, 30, 35, 40 millimeter in size. And these are my go-to bits until I learn some other tricks later on. I'll show you, which happen to be this. This is a diamond style cutting bit, or diamond coated. It's a steel disc, and it has, I guess, some diamond dust that's been put on there. These are fabulous for cutting fiberglass. There's no safety concerns with them because they're metal. They can be bent really easy, and then your downfall is you have high vibration in your tool bit when you're trying to use it at the really high RPMs that a rotary tool spins. So that's one of the downfalls with them, but they're much safer than the previous. This one is not that bad. It takes a lot to break one of these, but yet they can be broken. But they don't disintegrate and come apart in hundreds of little pieces flying at your face like these will. So these are definitely much safer alternatives to these. So if you only have access to these are a go-to. These will work and you will do just fine. So of course wear your safety glasses, etc. These are the arbors that generally mount them to, so you can actually install them into your rotary tool. Same thing with this. This is the laser one, or the one that's come with diamond dust on it, and these can generally be bought in the same place that you can buy these. All right, so the next thing is you have a sanding drum. If you have one of those kits, you'll notice the sandpaper on this is pretty worn out, but it gives you the idea. It's just a paper drum that's put on a rubber plug that has a shaft running through it that goes into your rotary tool. This is a carbide burr. This is a Dremel branded burr. I love this bit. This bit is great. It'll cut stainless. It'll cut anything you want to cut with it. You know, for grinding a weld or something like that. These are great little tools. These are another style burr. I'm guessing they're like electrically welded, like spurs that stick on there. Really great for grinding woods or this fiberglass material, excellent. And they also have it in a drum format, and they have a couple different shapes that you can get. These are great little tools. I have them, and these are generally the ones that I use when it comes to doing detail work, cutting grooves or lines or anything like that with a rotary tool. Anyways, we'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and cut the parting lines on our seat cowl that was done, and then we'll come back. All right, everybody, we're back. It's Charlie. All right, we have the part cut. You can see it looks pretty clean. To give you an idea, with the 3 layers of 1.5 ounce mat, it gave me probably almost 4 millimeters of part thickness, which is pretty thick, but I have a lot of sanding to do. So you'd want to try to make your part as thick as possible, or you're going to find yourself having to relay material either on the inside or the outside. So, all right, everybody, we're back. We decided to take a little detour and kind of advance this movement a little bit. All right, I've since trimmed the seat cowl, and you can see here I have some of the insulation foam added, and I've wrapped with the cellophane wrap around the part, and then I've added tape to the top of the styrofoam to seal it, keep the polyester from eating it. And I've also sealed the corners going up, and then overlap the tape over the top, so it's tied in here. It's completely sealed to keep resin from getting in there. So I have trimmed and marked on the styrofoam and stuff for the seat cowl to sit. So what this will do is now it'll give us our flush base to the bottom of the subframe. So I have this all set, so what we'll do is we will lay some fiberglass in this section here, and then I will make up some glue out of the polyester resin with some of the Cabosil to make up a glue, so I can, once this is laid up, I can put the glue around the edge and then set this down on top, and then the items will cure as one. So I'll be able to remove it, and then I will have the bottom edge that I'm wanting in here already pre-formed to the actual seat cowl. And if you notice, I took the rotary tool with like a sanding drum, and I have cleaned the upper edge. As what will happen is once this is all together, if I want to, once it's together, I can actually come in on the inside and laminate some glass to bond it to this surface to make sure that it doesn't crack and come apart or anything in the future. So that was most likely what I'll do, is I'll probably clean the inside of this once this is laid up, and then come in and clean the inside of it, and then lay a small strip of glass on the inside to keep it from potentially cracking and separating. So what we'll do is this point, I'll go ahead and mix up. I'm going to do my fiberglass, and then we'll come back after I got the thing already set up and touch base a little bit more. That's it. All right, we're back. I got the glass laid up on here. As you can see, I kind of rode the edge a little bit, brought it up, bubble rolled it all out. And what you see on here is a putty that I made, kind of like icing. And then since I had traced my lines out, I went ahead and followed the inside of the trace, followed across the top, as you can see, going across the light. By the way, which I ended up putting tape on because I thought about it after I did the first segment of this video. So I added the tape on there, and then went ahead and added the putty in here, and it follows around, same thing, goes around onto that. And on the actual cowl, on that section, since there is a much larger gap, I went ahead and polished that section out, and then added the putty on there. And basically all I do to apply it, kind of like a pastry maker for icing, I just took a sandwich bag, and I put the mixture inside the sandwich bag, clipped a very small segment off the corner, and then it allows me to spread it on here kind of like icing. So now that that's on there, I'll stop the video and I'll get to set the seat cowl on there, and what will happen is that glue will bond to this surface right here along with the new fiberglass that's added on there to give it its edge. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. The seat cowl's been placed on top of the glue, and as you can see, because I actually applied the glue on the inside of my traced line so that it would actually be in line with the actual seat cowl, you can actually probably see that the glue has like squished up on both sides of the seat cowl, so giving a decent bond on the inside. And as you go around, you can see the discoloration change, basically the semi-transparent cowl, where I applied the glue there, and it has squished and it's actually formed much deeper and than the actual amount that I want, which is great because I'm trying to close in a decent sized gap that was under here, because there's actually, on this particular light, there's 2 hooks that's in here, and I'll have to make a land underneath once this is all cured so that the seat cowl can hook, or basically slide up on underneath those hooks that's on the actual tail light. And so that'll be a later episode, but that's basically what we're trying to achieve here. And so as you can see, the glue had squished in here, making a nice wide platform that's actually following the shape of the tail light. And again, you can see I got a little extra glue over here, but that's okay. All this stuff will get knocked off pretty easy when it comes to cutting it off with the cutting wheel and then later sanding it, etc. With my previous trimmings, I had a small gap, so I actually used some of that putty to put in there and fill in the gap, because the putty had fiberglass milled fibers into it also. So between the Cabosil and the milled fibers, this glue has a really good tensile strength. So and then, like I said, the extra glass right here, that'll all get trimmed off with the rotary tool and formed in, and we'll have a really nice shape. It'll be formed up to the actual subframe, and we'll be able to move on to the next steps. So for this episode, this will be the final, and then we'll start the new episode with actually removing the part and begin trimming. So stay tuned for the episode 5.